Welcome to the We Don't Play podcast show. In this episode, you are going to meet Google AI mode, the new search experiment. This is something that is happening as we speak. I got notification this morning that I got access to this Google AI mode and I had to apply for it. And I think this is something that you have to look at yourself and see whether you want to do this or you want to learn or you just want to grow. Or if you're interested, you need to know these things. So you may not know what's going on. And I have that thought process that I believe you should know what's happening so that you're also aware about what to do so that you don't get caught by surprise, because a lot of people are running their businesses, but not everyone's doing their business in the way it should be done. So that's why I'm like, if you want information like this, then you need to sign up, connect, leave your contact information. I'm going to change, I'm going to put a link actually at the top of this room so that you can connect, learn, and get emails that will help you grow. And if you want to really go deeper into it, we can get on a phone call and talk about it. I'll put the link in the chat because I realize sometimes some people may not see the link at the top of the room for some reason. So I want to make it very easy today. We're going to be here for about an hour and we're going to make this very quick. But I also want to make sure we cover this so that if you listen to this replay a year from now, 2 years from now, we talked about it today. So the link is in the chat if you want to get on a call and see how we can get your business going out there. So as a business, we think about the search experiment, right? And we want to use the search experiment to gain attraction, right? There's a lot of things happening when you look at the platform itself. And welcome, David, Unique, in as well, Muhammad, and all for being here today. Love that you're in the room as well. Thank you so much for joining. And Ryan, too. When you're looking at Google AI mode, right, this is something that is new. It just happened recently. And you can just go on Google search and type in Google AI mode. You will see it. And I'm actually going to put the link to the article that Google released. Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat right now. All right, there you go. So click the link in the chat. That's going to take you to the article that was written March 5th. It's a 3-minute read. Welcome, Valerie. It's a 3-minute read, and just read what Google is saying because Google is changing. You know how you look at your google.com and it says Google on the left, and then it says images, videos, news, shopping, flights. Yeah, that's about to change. And there's going to be AI mode to the left. So all this AI overviews that we're seeing right now is an experiment in an experiment. It feels like Inception, the movie, because now with AI mode, what's going to happen is you're getting AI powered responses and you can ask follow-ups with this new experiment. And that means the same way you're asking ChatGPT, the same way you're asking Trello or Cloud or ClickUp or any AI tool that has project management or tasks or anything that has any AI integrated facility or feature, this is how the conversation is going to start going. And right now, I just did a search, and we have an amazing mastermind as well, and we went through this today as well. Shout out to you as well, David. And we looked and went deeper into this visually, so you can see how this thing works. Because not everybody has access to this yet. You have to apply, you have to join the wait list, and then you have to get approved. Of course, I'm sure they will just approve you, but you have to also see what's going on. And this is a VP of product at Google Search that wrote this article. His name is Robbie Stein or Steen, and he wrote this article on Google's article website, blog.google.com, so that you can also see what articles Google is writing. And to actually make this very interesting today, the fact that Google has a blog should tell you that even though Google is Google, you should have a blog on your website. Like, success leaves clues. So when you have things like this, it should tell you that blogs is what's ruling and it's under their product news tab. So that means that there's company news, there's product news, right? They have different things, different devices, they have different content pieces. There's so much that they talk about. So it can't just be in one blog. But when you start creating categories for your blogs, that's how your categories turn into different playlists. Because think about your blogs like a playlist. When you have a playlist, you have a set of different songs that match the mood. When you have a certain category that focuses on a specific topic, then that's what people are going in for. If there's a YouTube playlist, people are using that YouTube playlist to generate information about what they're experiencing because they're actually enjoying that moment. So it's not just about, oh, AI mode is here. That's great. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your business? What does that mean for the results that you're getting? I remember early on, SGE, that was back in the day, that was like what, 2023 or so? Or was it 24? When you could only get like maybe 1 to 3 results on the AI overview, and that was early on because it was trying to like understand. Some people were saying it wasn't factual, it's still an experiment. And even right now, they even said like we might make some mistakes because the AI is learning, it's growing. And where is it learning from? It's learning from you. It's learning from your domain. It's learning from your business website. It's learning from your content fillers, because those content pillars that are filled with information are traffic points that trigger algorithms that search for context that you provide in form of a link. So when the URL is not in the right format, then that URL cannot be read through, because your URL is your uniform resource locator. So if Google AI mode is going to locate your website as a point of reference, hey Sabri, welcome. If Google AI mode is going to reference your link before a Facebook link, before a Medium link, before another link that's not your domain, that means you have a trust score. That means you have a sender reputation. That means you have a domain authority. If you've never heard of this before, check Postmaster Tools. If you've never heard of this Google platform, check Postmaster Tools. If you send emails, if you do all these things, you need to be compliant. Welcome, Empress. Because, I mean, if you're sending emails and you're getting low click rates, low open rates, low traffic intakes, low clicks, you're not getting a trajectory curve that's going upwards through your impressions count, then that means you're not getting the traffic, because all these AI models are looking for you. And the sad thing about this thing, which I feel like not everybody is seeing it, but I mean, that's the reality. Not every niche is getting the most updated information. There's some niches right now that when you search on Google, you get results from 2023, 2022. I've seen one as far back as 2015. So I'm like, okay, it's either these articles are not being updated or nobody cares. And that's not a good thing, right? Welcome, Dr. Sherrill. Because you have to think about your business as a surface that people are going to connect back to, right? So if this is an experiment that Google is doing, I would not be surprised. Welcome, Riches. I would not be surprised if this is how people are going to be searching in the future. This article was released March 5th. Today is what? March 25th. It's 20 days. People don't know about this yet. They didn't announce it. They're not running ads. They're not screaming it at you. They're working in silence. But when you see it, you'll be like, oh, okay. Because now you know. So when you're looking at what they're working on, it's changing. A lot is changing. LinkedIn is also changing. I don't want to go too deep into LinkedIn, but things are happening there too. YouTube as well. You have to think about these platforms that you're using to build attention. Because if you're not using your Postmaster tools correctly, if you're not checking all these DNS records, if you're not having all these things, you're going to have a bad experience. And Google does not like a bad experience at all. Because now with Google AI mode, you can literally ask any question and get a complete set of answers. Think about ChatGPT, but now on Google. Just think about that. ChatGPT will give you results, links, all that good stuff. But imagine the same capacity or more, which is more, on Google, and you're getting all these links, all these pages, all these references. Who do you think they're linking to? Either you or your competitor. That's the truth. It's either you or your competitor. If it's you, then how do they stay with you? That means they connect to your email, they subscribe, they want to learn from you. They may not want to buy, they just want to listen. And then eventually they might refer you to someone. So you don't know where people are, at what capacities they have. And that's not your job. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to show up and give so that whoever is in receiving mode is able to now take that and understand how they can apply that to their business because they have the capacity to do that. Some businesses don't have time to do this because they're so busy with the tasks of the day that it's stressful. Super, 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 super stressful. So talk less of a whole new tool or a whole new title or a whole new tag. It's not something that people are even excited. I mean, yes, it's a shiny object, but I want to be here telling you this because I'm in the experience lab. And I know that when people are testing these things out, it's hard because when you start thinking about it, you want to think about it. And for you to even be part of this, you need to be part of the Google One AI Premium subscriber list. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's something called Google One AI Premium. And that's something you should already have. But technically, it just means that if you're buying storage more than what you're given, let's say you're buying 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of storage, then that just makes you an advanced user. If you use Notebook LM, welcome Chrissy and Ryan and Amin. If you use storage, right? Definitely use that platform. I have storage and I use storage. So if I have 2 terabytes, that's there, right? Even if they have, students discounts as well if somebody's going to use that. So when you're using this kind of information, you're tapping into this platform where you're learning this. I mean, you can use it on your own, but because I'm one of the subscribers there, and if you have that, that's by default, you should have it too. When you opt in, then you can test this in the lab. And I'm going to send an email today to our community, to our over 7,200 subscribers. And I'm going to mention this because I said it in passing, and I just said it like quickly. And I was like, hey guys, something new is happening. Check this out. Because the reason why they're staying in the email box is because they know Favor is going to say something that's new. And that's something I love to do. I love to announce things that are important, that are fresh, because I always do research and I always like to keep people up to speed. Now, we sent that email out and we've gotten about a 24.7% click rate and a 34.3% open rate, which is pretty heavy. So when I'm looking at the way people are responding, reopening, and it's not just opening once, right? They're opening more than once. It's getting to the point where you have to think about your sender reputation, right? Because if you have Google AI, putting your email or your domain out there, because it is your email and domain. Because if you're sending an email through broadcast, it's coming through a workspace. That's why Google AI mode does not allow you to even use Google AI mode with an account that you purchase from Google Workspace. They're going to tell you to use your Gmail account, use a personal account, because you can't use a business account to test in their labs. You're testing in their Google labs. So they have restricted properties and patents and all these things. So you have to abide, right? You have to pretty much follow the rules. So you go in there, you learn, you get to see what's going on, and you get to know, people are listening, people are reading, people are learning. And then when they're clicking on it, they're not surprised when it happens because they saw it in an email 3 months ago. It may not be relevant today. This information might be so like, okay, it's in passing. Yeah, the sun is going to shine anyway. Like you're not even thinking about that. It's not even in your mind. But at some point, it's going to click. It's going to be like, oh, yes, I remember this because something happened at some point when things were happening and then your whole Google changes. One day you're going to wake up go to Google, see a whole new thing, just like you did before with Google AI overviews, and now you're getting used to it. So it's like switching from stick shift to automatic, and now being self-driven. Like those things are gonna happen, and you're gonna have to adapt. And that way, by adapting, you're learning how these processes work. So if people are searching in a different way, how does this even apply to you? Now, this is how it applies to you. If you have a business and you are listening to this message and you're listening to this episode, number one, welcome, sis. One of the major key components that you have to think about as a business is your technical SEO. Your technical SEO. Because a lot of businesses, have websites, but these websites are not being indexed by Google. They're not being indexed by Microsoft. They're not being indexed by Apple. They're not being indexed by Amazon. Because when you go to these links, Amazon will say, hey, here's a store provider. Here's a store provider's website. Those are links. Those are referring domains. Those are property links. So anywhere you go, even if you post this link on WhatsApp, Telegram, send a text message, that link is going to be clicked on, and that's direct traffic. I didn't have to go on Google to search to get that direct link. So when you start sending, sharing, connecting, and building, your technical SEO has to be big, because if I send you a link and God forbid that link is not technically indexed on Google, I can get a view. I've viewed your website, but technically, I've not gained analytics. I've not gained intelligence. I've not gained anything because I can't track back that data. That's why whenever we work with our clients, the first thing we do is connect your website to Google Search Console, because you can build a beautiful looking website, aesthetically pleasing. But if I connect that to the server and it's off, and then every time we're trying to connect and we get this message, then nothing's going to happen, because technically, and we throw out this word technically around, technically, you're not able to drive your car. Let me just give you a visual example. When you go to Google Search Console, there's a button that says Start Now. If you hear the word Start Now and you think about driving a car, there's a button that says Push to Start. Right? So when they say start now, this is the first time I'm saying this. When they say start now, it means you're about to push the button that's going to turn on the engine of the car, that's going to drive for the miles that you're going to give it based on the performance of your vehicle. Whatever make, model it is, whether it's WordPress, Wix, whatever it is, it's going to be your car. Shopify, it's going to be your domain. And then when you look at the dashboard, when you look at Google Search Console, they give you a picture, a visual picture of a car dashboard to tell you that they're focusing on performance. It's all about a car. It's a search engine. If your engine on your car does not work, you're not driving anywhere. You're not going to risk that. You'd rather Uber, Lyft, or something else, walk. You're not going to just do that because you feel like you want to do it when you know that technically this car cannot even move 1 feet. So how do you as a business drive your car to the point where you are technically sound? Oil check, battery check, gasket check, cylinders check, windshield check, glass check, everything is checked out, checked off the list. Because when you hear that check off the list, it makes you feel like, yeah, I can drive for a long time. I can fly for a long time because all the things are working together. If not, things will not be working as they should. So your goal is to make sure that your website has traffic, and that traffic has to happen on the road. You don't have traffic in your garage. You don't have traffic in your driveway. Traffic happens on the road, on the highway, on the road where a lot of people are. And that's where you want to be, so that people can see you driving that car, because you have something to show that shows up for them when they're searching for things on that road or that exit. So it's all about cars, it's all about traffic, it's all about access, it's all about information, it's all about what is my pure goal. Am I doing this just to show up online because I have a website, or am I doing this to serve people? Because sometimes your website may not make sales, and it happens. And sometimes with SEO, I can't guarantee you that. But what I can guarantee you is a house that will never leak. Because when you have a house that is strong, that is a fortitude, that actually has bricks, that actually has fences, it's protected, you're secured on the web, and then you're starting to track data, the links that you have on your website eventually will see the light of day. Because not every web link on your website is going to have a web page view. It doesn't happen like that. And it's true. Not every website is going to have all pages ranking. You might have that one page that's a power page that is literally the only page maybe people know about your website. And that could happen. It's like, I only know one song from this artist because I only knew this one hit song. I've never heard the whole album. It happens. This is reality, guys. This is life. This is real. So when you look at your website and you ask yourself, what links do I have on my website that can technically solve a problem? Because you're technically online to show up as a result to a solution from a problem that was asked on a search engine box, whether it's coming from YouTube, from Pinterest, from Google, from Bing. It happens. So when you start making your sales on your website, when you start making sales when you start sending out emails, when you start connecting the dots, starting to see, oh, who's here, who's not here, eventually people will be like, yeah, it's cool. You want to know exactly what's happening. Some people purchase at 6 a.m. in the morning, 12 a.m. in the morning. Some people purchase on a Sunday. Some people wait till Wednesday night. Some people purchase right up before they sleep. You don't know you don't know. Everybody has their own way of doing things, but how do you control what you can control? It connects the dots, full access, full way. And that way you're able to say, okay, I need to do more of this. I need to do more of that. Because as a business, how will you be able to even get beyond that? Think about this. Google has one of I would say not even one of the most traffic in the world. Google, we all know this. It's not even a debate. But yes, their market share has been dropping, but that doesn't mean that their power and their impact has dropped, right? It's healthy competition, because sometimes you don't want to be up forever. You want to have that competition so you can think outside the box. So when somebody competes and you now lose that first place position, that makes you wake up, because now you've lost 30% of your traffic because you probably haven't updated your article in the last 3 years. Because you are ranking for 3 years doesn't mean that you're going to last for 3 years. So your business has to get to the point where you can actually connect your dots and actually connect long term. There's a question in the chat. David asked, once you submit to index a URL to GSC, which is Google Search Console, how long does it take to appear on Google, and how many pages can you submit a day? Great question. Now, this is a very technical question. Very technical question. And I think for me, I've also pushed it to the limit to actually wait to get an error message. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes when you get a new car and you want to like go on a driveway at night, and it's literally like just a long street, like when you're playing like racing games and you want to hit to the max to see how far it can go. That's what I did with some submissions. And I realized that when it comes to submitting on Google, you can't submit so many at the same time, because when you start doing that, it starts to change how you're receiving feedback from the algorithm, because you're also giving it a time. There has to be a balance. So usually safely 10 a day is good. If you want to submit 10 a day is good. If you go over that, you're going to start getting error messages. Why? Because it's like feeding the car. If you put gas in your car, right? And your gas tank is full, and you keep putting gas and it keeps stopping, you keep pushing it, you're going to break it. Like you're now overfeeding. Like, I'm satisfied, I'm full, I'm okay, thank you. And I'm still eating. I'm still trying to swallow. At some point, you need to know when to stop. because there's moderation in everything. So that's why they give you that error sign, because those 10 links are now being indexed on Google throughout the sequence. So how long does it take? Anywhere between 1 to 10 minutes. That I've done a countdown before. Anywhere between 1 to 10 minutes, depending on your domain authority, depending on your links. If it's a new page, if it's never seen the light of day on Google and you request indexing, anywhere between 1 to 10 minutes it starts ranking. But that doesn't mean that when the lights are on, that you're now showing up on Google Search Console forever. It doesn't happen just like that. There has to be a balance. So when you now submit it, that first 24 hours of that post is important, because now you have to push notifications out to people. Either you're running an ad on the back end to do that collectively, or you're doing that organically by publishing content on the web and also through email communication service. So there has to be a balance between those two. So when you're doing them, it means that your web domain is getting web traffic, because you're creating web engagement through the web servers. So the servers is where you want to be. And if you're on the server, it means that your website has access to all those points. And when you look at a domain is not just mydomain.com. That's not just a domain. A domain has DNS records, it has akin records, it has information that tells somebody about your business. When was it registered? When was it, modified? What service, what hosting platform is it on? And those things matter, because when you start getting traffic on your website, it's because of those places that you put your content on. So when I mentioned earlier that you have to be technically sound, it's because when you are in the technical space, you want to clean out all those gunks that are in the way. Because some of the times when you have links, especially the more links you have, the more it gets stressful. You know how they say more money, more problems? It's the same thing with links. More links, more stress. Why? Because every time you update a link, something else new comes up. So if you have 10 links, right, and you've submitted 10 links, and you're doing this 10 times through a 5-day period, that's 50. And you've done. Now, in that 50, out of those 50, any of them can take off. That's why it's always good to have that technical SEO, especially if you have links that are already active. It's just to go back and say, okay, what links are doing better? What links are not doing so well? How can we, stretch this out a little further? Because these links are going to keep coming regardless. And the more links you have on your website, the more chances you have to make impact. So when you think about the time it takes to submit, the goal is to submit it in a way that once it's submitted and it's received, a lot of people can now start to learn from you. And then potentially they can start to understand, oh, okay, here's where we're getting traffic from, here's where we're going to, and here's what we're creating. Because the sitemap is one of the most important places that your website will need to look at. I always look at sitemaps, because if your sitemap is off, it's going to be a very hard hill to climb. Very, very hard hill to climb. That's why it's always good to go into your links, check your links, see what the links are saying. Do you have traffic? Yes, great. If you have traffic, are people seeing it? Can people actually see that there's pages on your website that people can track? Is there any information that I can use to know that, okay, I'm getting insights? If yes, great. If no, wait, then let me see how I can, make sure that this is working better. Because at the end of the day, your goal as a business is to show up online to the right people who need your services. If you start advertising to the people who don't need your services, at some point it's going to get redundant, and then you're going to get stressed. So when you think about links, when you think about content, and people are actually clicking once and then they buy once, it's such a great feeling, because somebody has come to, hey, I gave this example yesterday, and I'll say it again today, because not everybody that was here yesterday is here today. So I want to say this for you as well. And welcome, Mr. Benchy. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you, sis. Yeah, you're so right. You know, when somebody needs something urgently, they're going to get it. Let's say it's a hot day, It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm tired because I've just gone through a marathon and I just got first place. Yes, I'm excited I got to achieve that because I worked hard to get there. Thank God for that position. Now I'm looking to my left and I see somebody selling water. Now they're selling water and they're asking me, hey, would you like to get some water? That answer is almost 100% yes. If it's a no, that's a whole different discussion. But if this person is thirsty, it's a hot day, they're looking for water to drink, and you have a cold bottle that they can buy, and you tell them how much it costs, they're going to get that bottle because at that time, it's a hot lead. They need that today. If somebody's going on an event tomorrow, it happens. I had a wedding to go for last weekend, right? And there are things I had to get. So it's the same thing when you have something to get, you have to plan. You have to say, okay, shoes, cologne, hair, you have to get things done because you know that you want to look presentable because you're going to be in a crowd of people. So when you're buying those things and people are looking for those things to buy, are you the person that they're going to buy from? Because this person might be buying this purse because they're going to an event. Someone can be buying this bag because they're going to church. This person can be buying this book because they want to learn more about how to improve themselves. Somebody might be buying a shoe because they're actually going to go to a park. Or maybe they need new running shoes. Or maybe they thought about an outfit, they bought an outfit from somewhere, and then they saw that, oh, I like this can match with this. And then they start doing the math in their head, and then bingo, they come to you because you had a guide, you had a website that was technically sound. Guess what? That starts to happen. It may not happen every time, but when it happens, it's because you're driving attention to the right people. So when somebody is getting water from you, it's because they're buying that water because they're thirsty. Nobody buys water if they're not thirsty. And if I'm buying water, what kind of water am I buying? Some people like alkaline water. Some people I know just like a specific type of water. Everybody has their own choices, and that is totally fine because it's your choice and that is your priority. So if you're creating content for people, how do you connect the dots so that when people find you on Google search, when they find you on different platforms, how do you show up online? Welcome, Mark. So this Google AI mode is so important because I just want you to know that right now, as I'm speaking to you, this is happening right now. And if you're just joining us, there's a link in the chat that you can click on. And I'm actually going to put the link at the top of the room so that anyone that listens to this replay, at least you get to see a snapshot. Boom, here we go. Expanding AI overviews and introducing AI mode, right? So AI overviews is what everybody is reading right now on Google search because we're doing SEO. That's why I always say this. Even though we work for a certain number of months or years, SEO will keep changing. These products will keep evolving. Like we're already in March. A lot has changed already, and we just started the year. So the good thing is that things are happening, things are working. Now, if things are changing, you also want to change with the things that are also giving you progress, right? So your goal, welcome Dr. D, is to create content for people that need your information, that if an AI is supposed to look for that information, they can find you as a source. And how can they find you as a source? When you have links that are interlinking together. So if you have a product, you have related products. The best example I can give you is Amazon. When you buy a product on Amazon, what do they give you? Other products to go with. They say frequently bought together. When they say frequently bought together, that just tells you there's a transaction going on in that category, right? Because it's a need, it's an essential, right? If I'm buying toothbrushes, I'm going to need toothpaste. Welcome, Brian. I mean, it's just the logic. So if somebody is going to buy shoes, they're going to need socks, right? So, and then fill in the blanks for the rest of them. So as a business, if they're looking for you as a coach, as a book author, as a blogger, as a speaker, as an event host, as a podcaster, you want to be in that place where Google AI mode is also connecting you to those dots. So right now, AI overviews are getting a Gemini 2.0 upgrade and expanding to more people. Plus, they're also introducing a new experimental AI mode. Now, what is AI mode, right? I'm reading it from this link you're seeing above. With our new AI features, people are using Google search more than ever as they help or as they even get help with new and more complex questions. AI overviews is one, or they say AI overviews are one of our most popular search features. Imagine they're saying that right now, one of their most popular search features, because Google has different products, right? There's Google Mail, there's Google Merchant, there's Google AI mode now, there's Google Maps, there's Google Business Profile, there's Google Keep, there's Google Docs. You guys know the rest of the story. So you know that when they look at search features, this is an important one, and it's being used by more than 1 billion people. 1 billion people over that, right? And they're looking at this, and right now it's only available in the US. Think about this. It's only available in the US to tell you that if it's only available in the US right now, guess what's going to happen by Christmas 2025? God willing. Just guess. Take a wild guess. Because if they're experimenting this now in the first quarter of 2025, we're about to wrap up the first quarter. In the second quarter, guys are going to shift gears, right? Because now it's like, okay, we've technically solved the problem, we've debugged everything. Thank you, Dr. Lee. And we've like said, okay, bet. Now we're ready to go in and really connect with more people because they're gonna ask some really important questions, and people are gonna say, hey, I took this, I had this sushi. Like today is Tuesday. So I always, people know I love tacos in my community because I always send emails on Tuesdays and I say happy Taco Tuesday. Now, imagine if I'm trying to ask you what's your favorite taco, and I'm telling you like chicken, beef, shrimp, fill in the blank. And I take a picture of some tacos and I upload that to Google AI mode and say, hey, I took a picture of this at this restaurant. Are there any other restaurants I could actually try this out at that's close to me? And it's going to scan that image and then match it up with other people that have talked about it, because the picture also has quality and that quality also says something. I'll give you an example. I went to a restaurant over the weekend. Not was it over today's Tuesday? Yeah, over the weekend on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday. Yes, it was on Sunday. I'm just trying to remember. The days are going by so fast. On Sunday, I went to this new restaurant, and it's a beautiful, beautiful restaurant. It's an African restaurant, it's a Nigerian restaurant. They're doing so well. And I walked in and I was like, when did you guys open? They said a year ago. I was like, I've not, literally, how you know that I've never seen it is that this restaurant is literally the opposite side of the road where my church is. And I go there every Sunday. So I'm like, I've never seen you guys here. And I had to find you from my house, not even from the church, because I drove and I was like, wait, I know this road. And I was like, are you guys online? Like, what's going on with your marketing? They said, yeah, they're doing well, but they're still growing. So I'm like, you guys need to show out. So I connected with the guy immediately. The food was amazing because you go to different restaurants and people have different styles. And then when you start a big restaurant, restaurants are really hard to maintain, by the way, because there's some restaurants that you do so well, you come back after 2-3 years, like it doesn't taste the same food and things change. So now I'm like, he has a huge advantage because it's called Lekki Island. I'll just tell you guys the name of it. And when I typed in on Google, I'm like, this is the only Lekki Island. And Lekki is an actual place in Nigeria. It's a really prime, it's on the island. And it's a really nice place in Lagos. And it's a prime place too. So he's having a nice little Lekki Island here in Houston, Texas. And he's competing against other restaurants. And I told him, hey, for you to get food, people to walk in here, then you need to also let people know what's going on. Because when people say Lucky Island, you want to also educate them. With all this AI overviews going on, he has a website. He hasn't fully pulled out his website yet to people, but that website needs SEO from what I saw. So if someone's going to, go somewhere and look for food, if you're looking for food, and I'm sure you do this too, I do it, but if I'm going to reserve a hotel or I'm going to reserve a restaurant, I'm going to check out the pictures. I'm going to go to the website, see what's on their menu, see like what's the experience like, what have people said about the place, is it good reviews? So I was searching and helping him based on the highest number of reviews, based on the most popular places to go for that kind of restaurant. I told him, hey, here are your top 3 competitors in the city, in the state that's focusing on this specific. If someone comes to this city and they're looking for this type of food, this is who they're going to go to, one, two, or three. So how do you jump from number 20 to number three or even to number one? And that's based on your positioning. So I told him, hey, we're going to definitely figure this out because this is a challenge for me. And I love challenges because when you start competing with other people, it's not just about, oh, we have the best food. It's how can AI, back to Google AI mode, contribute and say, hey, here are the best restaurants for this kind of food you're looking for. And then they'll recommend his restaurant over the others. Why? Because those people may be optimizing for maybe social media, but they forgot that there's something going on the search engine. And he was even saying it last night. He was like, because I talked to him last night, and this is a guy who has a PhD. He's an engineer, but he's also a chef, and he's building a business, and he's doing so well. So I'm like, wow, this is really nice. And he's lived across his, worked in Germany, he's schooled in Germany. He's also, lived in a different country. So I'm like, this guy has multinational cultural experience, and he's just trying to make sure people have a better experience of the cultural food that is there, right? Because I love food myself, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. And I leave reviews on Google when I go to restaurants, and I have this star. I have a star in my name, so whenever I give a review, I normally notice that it actually helps. I don't know how that happened. Maybe it's the SEO I do, but I don't even do SEO for that. I just type and I post. But because I've been doing it so consistently, now whenever I give a review on Google, it also improves that place because it also adds color and value because I also use all the attributes. Now, why am I giving you this random examples? Is because if you have a business and you're in any industry from real estate to medicine to retail to engineering to travel to business to even automotive, at any point in time, you can replace what I've just said and replace it with your business industry and see what comes up on the results. Because right now, if you start thinking about where we're going into search, we want to be in a place where we have dominance because a time is coming when you're going to be seeing AI everywhere. And if you're not part of those responses, it's going to be hard for you to be on the web, right? It's going to be hard for you to be on the web. So these AI powered systems are counting on you to give them quality links. That's why SEO is so important for businesses, because before you spend money on ads, you want to spend time and connecting people through the technical. That's why we always don't start running ads in the first month. We always start it around the second or the third month because we know now you can fly because now things are working. And then if we need to continue, we can maintain that. It's a growth curve. It's not just a curveball. You're going to get curveballs, definitely a lot of curveballs, because you're going to get hit with this email, oh, boom, or your indexing is not working, oh, this was blocked, or this was prevented. And then you feel like, man, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that the algorithm is getting more advanced and there's more information that is being processed. So if your information is not up to date, there needs to be something that needs to be technically checked. It's like going to the doctor and checking to see if you're good. Not that anything is wrong, but you just want to make sure that you're in good shape, you're in good spaces, you're in a good mindset. Health is wealth. So that's what we want to think about as our websites, because your website could have a broken link, you could have a duplicate link, and you may never even know that. And that's what could be hurting your website. That's what's probably hurting your bounce rate. That's what's probably hurting your click rate or your open rate for your emails. So all these things are interlinked because Google AI mode is going to get a link as a referring link to a website because that domain has a DNS record that has authority because it's been given authority through links that have been built over time. And that's why when you have a website, it's really good to have things like tables, images, illustrations, graphs, numbers, currency symbols, because those are the things that trigger the algorithm. If I say I'm looking for bagel right now, bagels, I'm looking for shrimp, or I'm looking for seafood, I'm going to get exactly what I ask. I'm not going to get, rabbits when I'm looking for seafood options to go to as a restaurant because it's so specific. But if I'm looking for the history of seafood, I'm not going to get restaurants unless a website has that information in a blog that links them to the menu for that category based on the collection of or the category of information they're asking about. So the goal is not just to feed somebody with, hey, here's our link, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. It's different. You have to think about the relationship you're building with people. Companies are doing this. Speaking of companies and and buying things, DoorDash, this is super unrelated, but y'all can Google this. I just love giving you information when I find it. And I'm like, hey, here you go, because you're going to figure it out at some point. DoorDash has partnered, welcome, Walton. DoorDash has partnered with Klarna. So you can actually buy food now and pay later. That's the most insane thing. I thought hair was one thing where you can buy hair and pay later, but food now, it's a completely different ballgame. People are doing these things now. So ask yourself, as a business, what operating model am I using to attribute to the success of my business? Am I running ads in the background? Am I writing articles? Am I sending emails? Am I optimizing pages that are already accessible? Because there's one thing to just write content on a website, and there's one thing to technically fix what's broken. Like, instead of me buying a whole new house, I can fix the walls, fix the glass windows, fix the roof that's cracking, and I still maintain my house. But now the value of my house has gone up by 2%, by 5%, because I've added this and this and this. That's what your website is doing. When you start technically changing those things on your website, adding pages that have already existed, it's way better than adding a whole new page. Why? Because the page that has existed is more familiar to the algorithm and the server changes than a new page that needs to take 24 hours to parse through. So it might take a little bit of a change, but you have to think about it as a business and ask yourself, how do you create this business and where do you take it from point A to point B? So you just have to ask yourself this question and see how you can really, really run it for yourself. So I'm going to shout you out, David. David, the link is ready. By the way, as I started this room, I went to YouTube and I went to upload the video that, was asked about for Pinterest, because I did a whole talk. I did a 25-minute talk about Pinterest. So I'm putting the link at the top of the room so that you guys can check it out. It's unlisted right now. This is the first time you guys are going to watch this video. So yes, please check this link out. Click the link. It should work for you. I'm going to click it myself because it's unlisted. I'm actually going to try it in incognito mode so that I know it's working on the private browser. Bingo. Yeah, it's working. So watch it. It's 25 minutes long. It's talking about Pinterest SEO, the power of Pinterest search for businesses. And this was at Creative Con. Shout out to Julie Loken. I got to meet amazing Clubhouse folks and friends in Chicago, and it was at the Intercontinental Hotel and in downtown Chicago. And I was able to talk. I had two segments. I had one with John, amazing guy. Loved the energy. We're talking about marketing and how to improve your social media in 3 ways and your search experience, just to make sure you have more visibility and expand your reach. And then the next day, I now talked about Pinterest, and I had a 25-minute show segment and really went deep into it. And I gave you some stats. I talked about what happens. I'll give you guys one of the stats right now. 47% of the people that use Pinterest in a 522 million base, that's global. Now, for Welcome to Painted Pose, when you look at the stretch, and I'm going to give you guys the numbers, 522 million worldwide users, right? Worldwide users. Now, in the US, it's over 100 million users, right? Now, 100 million out of 522 million, that's like a fifth, right? More or less. Now, out of this 100 million, 47% of this 100 million people in the US have an average household income of $150,000 a year. So when you start thinking about sales, marketing, branding, business, and Pinterest allows you to run zip code ads because we specialize in zip code marketing. So you don't just run ads to, the whole US for $5. You're going to run it to different districts because you want to focus on specific targets, right? Where people frequent is where people connect, right? If I'm living close to a school because I gotta have my kids in a really good school, then where they live next to a good school tells you the quality of life they're having in different areas, the commercial buildings, the residential buildings. Those are the things that you're looking for because people have a mile radius that they drive through every day, week in, week out. So Pinterest gives you about 2,500 zip codes access. So you can run 2,500 zip codes on a list that has that range of, maybe 50 to 150K a year, depending on how you do your research. And that's how we dive deep into that research for you before you run an ad. And then when you do that and you get to see the results, trust me, if you're spending $1 a day, you're going to get that dollar back because you're feeding into an algorithm that is actually looking for an information that you provide. And it takes a little bit of some time, but once you technically fix everything possible, then it's pretty much cruising. It's your like a whole cruise control because now you're using Pinterest to drive traffic to platforms that have web links. Now with Pinterest, people will say, okay, why am I going to run ads on Pinterest? Nobody knows me on Pinterest. Who even goes to Pinterest? People go to Pinterest. People go to Pinterest to plan. They go there to think, plan, and execute. So if these people, let's say 2% of their average household income, they spend that on maybe fun money or maybe educational resources, or they have a marketing budget, and these are consumers that you're selling to, you're connecting with. The way you're going to use Pinterest will be so different because Pinterest will allow you as a business to really, really understand the value of creating relationships with people that are acting alike. On Meta is lookalike audiences. That's how you create a lookalike pattern. On Pinterest, it's act alike audiences. I'd rather act alike than look alike because if I look alike, we're just looking at each other, looking at things. But if we're acting alike, we're doing things because we're in motion. When you act, you're in motion. It's a verb, right? So I'd rather be in the act alike than the look alike because we can look the same, we can look like twins, but that's all it is. But if we're acting like people that we are actually doing things professionally, then the results will show in the actions that we have. So that's why it's really good for you to be on Pinterest because when people are going there, they're planning, they're purchasing. You can do quizzes, you can do anything you can do on any social platform on Pinterest and more. Like 2 cents, 3 cents, and you're getting $1 back. Trust me, it's so possible, super possible. And just yesterday, just to tell you how intense Pinterest is, I'm just telling you this and I'm so excited about where Pinterest is growing to. Yesterday, the VP of North America enterprise sales at Pinterest. Her name is Kate Hamill. Shout out to Kate. She followed me and she she accepted the request because she just got announced as a new VP at Pinterest. And I, of course, on LinkedIn connected. And of course, not everyone's going to connect back with you. So I connected and I was thinking, okay, this is somebody that's probably never going to see my post. Like, you know what? It's fine. I tried it and I left. I always have a positive mindset. Then yesterday evening, I look at my phone and then I'm like, who accepted the request? And I was like, what? So someone at Pinterest can see that. So now that's a connection that has been fulfilled. Not that that has anything to do with sales. It's just the fact that a person acknowledged and saw something. And if I'm talking about something at this volume, I'll go to LinkedIn and talk about the same thing and say, hey, here's Pinterest. She might see it. And then guess what? A conversation starts. Anything is possible in this world if you just believe, if you have faith, if you take action, and if you plant that seed. Because if you don't plant that seed, you will never see that seed grow. And that's why I'm coming to you today live to just show you how these things work. Because when you start looking at all these things, including Google AI mode, it's a search experiment. Because at some point, I'm going to go to that AI mode. I'll find a YouTube video that has a link to a website, that has a link to a product, that has a link to I'll call it a related product or maybe a policy page. So anything that you're doing today, tomorrow, think about the things that you have to think about now as a business. Freely it was given to me, freely I'll give it to you. If you use, and this is an unrelated tip, but this is also a pro tip because I feel like today I'm just giving you guys a lot of tacos. Go go to rapidtags.io. Rapidtags.io. It's a free tag generator, especially when you go to YouTube and you don't know what to put in your tags. For those who use YouTube, go to rapidtags.io, put in the name of your title, and then it's going to generate all the tags. Copy those tags and then paste them into your YouTube so that you can have access to those things. And of course, you can always change whatever you want there. It doesn't have to be all together, but make sure that you have those things filled. Because when you have those things filled, it helps your business grow and it allows more people to connect with you at a deeper level. Even the quality of the things that you do is important. Like this video that you see at the top here, it's standard definition, high definition, and also 4K. So this video is a 4K video. Welcome to Clubhouse, Sahib. Hope you're enjoying your first week on the app. It's a great place to be, and I hope you're enjoying yourself and I hope you're enjoying the experience. So, yes, you have to think about a business and ask yourself as a business, what are we doing in 2025? When was the last time you tried something new for the first time? That's a serious question. Sometimes we don't have an answer for that, and it sounds like this because we just don't know what to say. And sometimes that's okay, but you shouldn't stay that way because you need to grow. You need to see things beyond the surface. There's so much out here as a business that you can take off just by focusing on the little things. Very little things. Things like, hey, can we send an email? Can we send a post? Can we update something? It's always those little things that go a long way. So just think of your business and say, I'm not on Google. How do I end up on Google? You end up on Google. How do I stay relevant on Google? Because something on Google called Google Search Console is great for your business because your business is able to get a lot of attraction through the servers. So your goal is not to just show up on the web. Your goal is to show up as an authority that has access to other properties. The more properties you have access to, it's like monopoly, right? The more properties you have access to, the more leverage you have on the playing field. Welcome, Austin. So just think about your business long term and ask yourself, how can I rank on the search engines today if I need this for my business for tomorrow? Everything starts off with one day at a time, one step at a time. You can't walk before you, I mean, you got to crawl before you walk. So think about that like your website. Your website has to be crawled on the web servers before it can now walk or even run or fly or even jet, to the first place. So it takes a while, but it's worth the while. If you take time and really build what you're doing for the benefit of the businesses that you're connecting with, then it's just a matter of time. People will start to feel like, okay, now I need to be on this platform. I need to actually have this experiment. So it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's a long-term thing. And the longer you're able to wait, the longer you're delaying your results. The longer you wait, the longer you delay your results. I'll say that one more time. The longer you wait, the longer you delay your results. So, for you not to delay your results, you need to start off today and build content that people can see for tomorrow. If you're focusing on Easter or Mother's Day, or you're focusing on Independence Day, you're focusing on Labor Day, or on Christmas Day, you start by creating content that answers questions. The biggest knowledge base in the world is Google, and I can also say Wikipedia. These are two places that are huge on resources, right? And what do those two pages do the most? They answer questions. They answer questions. So the more questions you answer, the more results you get as well. Great question, Dr. D. How do I build a community? How to build a community starts off with how do I how do I say this? How do I show up in a place that needs my help? And how that even starts off is with affinity. I talked about actor likes before. So if I'm acting the same way you're acting and we need a solution, it's because we're on the same search bracket looking for the same result in the finder. So if I ask you, Dr. D, what community are you trying to build? That would be the question. What is the community about? Is it a paid? Is it a one-on-one? Is it group? Is it just a free community? Is it a free space? There are a lot of layers to that question. So, majorly, when I look at communities, I always see communities as a place where people can feel connected. And the best way to really start building a community, even though the community may not look like a community, but it's building a community in the ecosystem of community building, is an email list. Building an email list is very important. Free at this time for aspiring entrepreneurs. Yes, definitely starting a newsletter for entrepreneurs, even as easy as doing it on LinkedIn, that's a great start because LinkedIn articles and LinkedIn newsletters end up on Google search. So if you have LinkedIn pages that link back to your website, then you have two counts on one server. So if you have two, if there are 10 results on a page, two of those results out of 10 would be yours, a LinkedIn page and your website page. And that's great because those are two counts, those are two different domains, and that's legal and it's ethical. So it's very possible. But you need to have a website first. If you have a website, is it optimized for SEO? If it's not, that's now another question that needs to be answered. So when it is, it goes back to that technical point when I was mentioning before that you'd have to have that technical SEO done because technical is the first thing that we do. It's like you when you build a house or when you buy a house or when you move into a new house, you got to turn on the lights, you got to turn on the water, you got to turn on the Wi-Fi, you got to do a lot of things, right? If those things were already on and they went off and came back on, it's because now you're the property owner. So same thing with a car. You have to put gas in the car. You have to check the car, check the engine, check all these things. So if you want to build a community, you have to create a safe space for them. And that starts off with building a safe haven using a website. Then from there, it takes off. More people get to see it. And eventually you can connect with them. And if it's free, you can build it and say, hey, here's a free checklist on entrepreneurship. Here's what you need. Boom, boom, boom. They now get all those things. You're running ads in a specific zip code area, knowing that, okay, if they're, let's say I have 3 months in the whole summertime that I know there are about 8 conferences that entrepreneurs show up in. And I know the 8 zip codes, meaning I know the 8 addresses that they're showing up in. Then when somebody connects, thank you for that, joyfulenterprise.net. Thank you for that feedback. So when you have that and you're connecting the dots, the goal is, okay, I want to really see where my people are. Like, I really want to know, okay, are people here? Are they connecting? Are they saying anything? Are they even like resonating, right? Because there's something called pre-purchase and there's post-purchase. Pre-purchase is mostly usually Pinterest and Google. Post-purchase is mostly Google and YouTube. So if you're within those three, at least one, like if you think of a Venn diagram, if you're in between all of them, that's a great thing. And I'm looking at your website. I love what I'm seeing here. Really, really love it. At the very bottom, I'm seeing 2023. So that got to be changed to 2025. But I love the way the aesthetics are, the colors. I love even how the navigation bar is at the bottom. It's like you flip the script. I love it. It's really, really good. It's like you created a landing page, but you kind of like made it into a pyramid. So I love that. So these are very creative things that I love to see. It's the little things that go a long way. Now, the next question is, how do we now turn these pages into live power pages that people can now see across different categories and places? People use their mobile phones, they use their desktops, they use their tablets to browse. So how do you become optimized for those browsers? And most of the people, and I got to know about this recently, most people that even when you're running ads, this is so related to what I'm about to say for Google AI mode, because Google Chrome is Google, right? So if you're running ads, if you're sending people traffic, if you're sending people emails, when people open those emails and they go to the web browsers, guess where they go to? Google Chrome. They may go to Safari, I go to Safari, but I also have a Chrome browser. I have a Brave browser. So, but not everyone has a Brave browser, not everyone uses Safari. But by default, back then it used to be Internet Explorer. I'm sure you remember those days. Now by default it's Google Chrome. For some people, it's Mozilla, but Google Chrome is number one. For some people, it might be Microsoft Bing because they just have a Microsoft computer, right? So if you have an Apple computer, that's different. So the dynamics are widespread and we can't control anything anybody does. But what we can control, yeah, Brave is Bay for sure. You know, you use these browsers and you know that people are searching on them for a reason. So if you're not on these browsers, how do you end up? Even Brave has their own search engine. So how do you use these browsers and show up on these platforms if you're not on the major platform like Google or Bing? So it's not a long song or a sing song or a yo-yo. It's the information that you get based on how you're able to relate with people. And if you do it in the right way, eventually the right person will see it. Because the whole idea of Google is to give results to people with fresh ideas and fresh perspectives. So if in 2025 you've not done anything new, then this is the best time to start on something like that. So I really love that you gave that feedback, Dr. D. That was a really great question. And I'm glad that you're doing this. So yes, anybody that has any question, please feel free to ask me, connect with me, click the link above, sign up, put your first name, put your primary contact email so you don't miss out on the emails that we're sending out to you. And on top of that, too, if you want to book a call, just click the link and you hit book a call and you'll get directly into the calendar. And we can talk about these things because it gets to a point where you need to just understand what's really going on the back end. Because sometimes you don't know what's happening until it happens to you. And then you're like, oh, I wish this didn't happen, but it happened. And because it happened, now you have to learn from what happened and learn about how it shouldn't happen again. So it's all a racing curve, if I can say it like that. But at the end of the day, you have to just see where it takes your business to. And it's just a matter of time. And when you see that over time you're learning and you're growing and you're actually gaining from more people, it's such a better way to be. And it's much a more opportunities come your way because you're actually solving problems for people. And clarity is best. Like when you think about sales and clarity, if somebody is buying an apple, they're buying a green apple because they want green apples. They're not buying a green apple because they want a red apple. They're buying it because the green apple is what they're looking for. So when you start giving people what they're looking for and what they're asking for, it's easy. Apple, look at Apple's website. Very easy to get. I'm looking for an iPad, this size, boom, check out. There's no stress. There's no questions asked. It's easy user experience. It's easy workflow. I'm looking for this and I got that. So sometimes we make life so complicated that we can actually complicate the whole system ourselves because we want someone to click here, but there's here that you have to click and they don't know what to click on. As opposed to just saying, hey, you landed here, welcome, here's where you got to go. If you're looking for the milk section, it's right on this aisle because you know exactly what that's going to lead to. People are going to know, okay, am I looking for fresh milk? Am I looking for oat milk? Am I looking for almond milk? Like it gets deeper than that. We could both go into the same store looking for milk and leave with two different products. That's why I'm saying that SEO is not a one-time fits all. It's a continuous thing. Yes, you may rank today. Tomorrow, someone else might rank after you. It doesn't mean that you're losing rank. It just means that you need to stay ahead of the game. You have to stay ahead of the curve. That's why we look at a business 12 months down the line and say, hey, here's your result. Here's what people are doing in your industry. And here's when you have high peak seasons and low peak seasons. So how do you measure these out? And how do you get the best balance and the best equilibrium for your business? Because it's not every day you're going to make a sale. It's not every week you're going to make something shake. It's not every day you wake up happy. It's not every day you see a good day, but every day you're grateful for the day because you went through it successfully. And it's the 99% of what you pretty much give back to based on the 1%. If I hurt my toe right now and I hit myself on my head, that's 1%. How I react to that is 99%. If I'm smiling, if I'm laughing, if I put ice on it, if I put spice on it, that's up to me. That's 99%. So don't let the world just push you and curve you with balls because they're going to keep coming. But at the end of the day, if you stand strong and you're the one that stays at the top because you keep showing up for the people who show interest, then eventually it's going to connect. It's not everyone you're going to connect with, but the ones who connect back to you are the ones who are meant for you. That's why, even for me, I've even told God, and I've been saying this as a prayer for a long time. It's been about 2, 3 years now. I've been saying it, and it's been really happening and helping for business, relationships, friendships. If I see things that are bad, that is not meant for me, show me the signs early in that person's character, in that person's business, that I wouldn't even have to deal with that person in the first place. Whether it's a great, you know, thing, a great grand ball, or it's something really tiny, as long as the intention is pure and is genuine, I want to connect to that person. If it's not, even though it's $1 million, I don't want it, because I value my peace and I value time and I value people's time. So I don't like, if there's a problem and there's an elephant in the room, let's fix it, because the last thing I want to do is sleep thinking that you're angry at me or something happened because of me. I don't want that on my conscience. So I will clear my day to make sure you're okay so that I can feel okay too. So I'm just giving you guys these things so that when you think about your businesses and you treat people the way you want to be treated, that customer experience comes in different capacities, from text to audio to video to image. It all plays into that role. So as a business, think about these things. And why am I giving these examples? Because if it goes back to the topic of the room today for AI overviews and extending now to AI mode, anything that you're going to be asking the algorithms, the search, is going to be based on how your feeling is. If you feel great in the morning and you ask a question to Siri, hey, Siri, I'm looking for this, you're going to get a response because of the way your tone is. If you just say, hey, Siri, and like your tone is so different, it's going to detect those things. Not that right now is going to be like, binary code 1 and 0, but the responses you're going to get will make you either happy or sad. And you don't want to be sad when you get a response you're excited about. So your goal is just to make sure that your business is connecting all the way, and you're actually connecting with people in some capacity, in some way, in some form or some fashion. So that's how we're able to do this as well. So thank you so much for that, Chrissy. I appreciate you. Yes, this was definitely amazing. Carolyn is saying, Favor, haven't seen you on stage. Yes, miss you too. It's been a while. I don't do a lot of rooms because I'm so busy these days, but I have to make time, and I want to make sure I'm here as well. Clubhouse is one of the greatest places I've ever experienced connections, and that's why I keep coming. But I also want to make sure I'm here for the right reasons. And when I hear something new, I'll always talk about it, because this topic, I'm not bringing it up again. So once I say it once, that's it. Because I look at replays, people are listening to my replays from 2022. I got a notification yesterday about that. So I'm like, okay, people are listening. So these links that are in the chat, these links that are at the top of the room, they're applicable, because someone's going to click them whenever they're ready. They're like, I remember that conversation or that discussion 3 months, 6 months down the line. We're on a Zoom call, and now we're working and we're not connecting. Before you know it, we're even meeting in person. It's definitely a big deal. So that's why they call it share of voice. It's your tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of people know this, but we just don't practice it every day. So the way we connect the dots really applies in our semantic behavior too. Yes, Dr. D, it's very, very interesting. There's so much that we can learn. And I hope you're learning something new here too, because the more I know, the more I don't know. Like, I learn more from my clients than they learn from me. I always learn from my team more than I learn from my team more than they learn from me, because I'm listening, I'm learning, I'm watching. I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could do this. Oh, okay, this is cool. And it makes me feel like, yeah, this is a great space, because now everybody can shine. I can do my thing, you can do your thing, we can do our thing, and everybody's happy. It's a win-win-win. It's not a win-lose-lose or lose-lose-win. Everybody's winning because everyone has something to bring to the table. So that's how we're able to do it. So if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And I'm going to put the link in the chat and also at the top of the room one more time. I hope it will allow me to do that, because sometimes it doesn't allow you to do it twice. Okay, I did it. Yes. So click the link in the chat. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's discuss. Let's debunk this problem. And let's get you on the Google AI servers, because a time is coming when, if you're not updating your website to 2025, something's going to happen and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm paying for this domain every year. I'm paying for this hosting, but I'm not getting results. I was in another room, somebody was saying, I'm getting clicks, but I'm not getting sales. That's because there's some things that need to be done that are not being done. And when they're being done, they're done correctly. And they'll be done in a way that you can actually access them, semantically. So this has been a great room. I'm glad we talked about Google AI mode, the new search experiment. And I appreciate you, David, Sis, Carolyn, Austin, Ryan, Simone, Chrissy, Dr. D, and Pesman for being here. If you have a ticket, please click the link at the very top. This is a marketing club. We have over 351,000 members in here, and we've been growing, growing, growing. So we have a lot of information, and we'll definitely have some more rooms like this. So tomorrow, let me see. I don't know. I might not be able to have a room tomorrow, but I'm just looking at my schedule right now in real time. I think the next time I could do this is on Thursday. So I can definitely be back on Thursday and talk about something really exciting. So please make sure you follow me here. Or if you want to connect with me deeper, and not even on a call yet, if you're not ready, just connect with me on LinkedIn. See what I'm doing. Just read, listen to WeDon'tPlayPodcast.com. Check out different things that's happening. We have a new episode with someone from Australia, and she talked about design and marketing tips. Yes, Jolanta, we're about to end the room. We've been here since 12 p.m. Central. So we've been here for about an hour and 19 minutes, but it's been a great conversation. The replays are on. Feel free to listen in, and I'll be here again on Thursday. And I'm definitely looking forward to having more conversations like this because AI is the future. And if you're missing out, you're missing out, but don't miss out because there's information for you to grow with. And if you want more information like this, just connect with me and we'll definitely make it happen. Yeah, for sure, I will. Appreciate you all. Have a happy Taco Tuesday for those who like tacos. And I'm going to see you guys soon. You're welcome.